We're all seeing the headlines. In the Middle East, a conflict is underway. But it's not just being fought with missiles and drones. While those physical strikes are devastatingly real, there's another battle being waged, a fierce fight for perception, for the very story that defines this war. So the question is, how do you cut through all that noise? Today, we're going to break down the 3 official stories being told and see what they reveal about the real conflict happening just behind the headlines.
You see, the central problem for anyone trying to understand what's really going on is that we're faced with 3 completely different, totally official versions of events. They're coming from the key players, Iran, Israel, and the United States. Now, each story is carefully designed to project strength and control, but here's the thing, they can't all be true. So how do we navigate this incredible fog of information to get even a little bit closer to the facts on the ground? So here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll talk about this whole idea of a war of words. Then, we're going to step inside each perspective, starting with Iran's claim that a long campaign has only just begun. From there, we'll pivot to Israel's story of a threat successfully contained, and finally, we'll unpack the U.S. declaration that the war is, well, already won. But putting these stories head-to-head, we'll start to see where the real battlefield might actually be. All right, let's get right into our first section, the war of words. Because before we can even analyze what each side is saying, we have to understand why they're saying it. This conflict isn't just being fought with military hardware. It's a battle to control the story, to shape how everyone, from their own citizens to the world at large, sees what's happening. The thing is, each government is pushing a narrative that's been perfectly tailored to its own strategic goals. Iran wants to project power and defiance. Israel wants to project competence and security. And the US, it's projecting decisive victory. For the rest of us trying to follow along, this creates a dense fog of claims and counterclaims, and it makes finding the truth incredibly difficult. For the leaders involved, though, winning this information war is every bit as crucial as any military operation on the ground. So let's start with our first perspective, the narrative coming directly from Tehran. Now, it is absolutely crucial to understand that Iran isn't framing these attacks as some simple one-off retaliation. No, they are presenting this as the opening chapter of something much, much bigger. This quote, aimed squarely at the United States, just perfectly captures the defiant tone of Iran's message. They are openly, and I mean openly, mocking Washington's claims of success. They're positioning themselves as the new power in charge. The argument they're making is that any talk of an American victory is just a delusion, a strategic defeat that's being hidden by a compliant media. What's really fascinating here is the specific language Iran's Revolutionary Guard is using. They don't want the world to think this is random. They're calling it a pre-announced series of operations. That's a signal of control, of intention. They're boasting about their advanced weapons, from ballistic missiles to those Kamikaze drones, and they're describing the attacks as heavy and continuous. But the single most important takeaway from their narrative is this. This, they claim, is just the beginning of a long campaign. And this is where we see the economic dimension of their strategy. Iran is tying its military actions directly to the global economy. The message is crystal clear. Stability in the region, and by extension, the stability of your energy and oil prices, is now in their hands. They are explicitly stating that things will not return to its previous state until, and this is their phrase, the idea of action against Iran is completely erased. It's a direct threat to disrupt the entire world's economy to get what they want politically. Okay, now let's pivot to the second official story, this one coming from Israel. And as you can probably guess, it paints a starkly different picture. Israel's narrative is all about successful defense and proactive disruption. Here it is, the core of Israel's claim. According to the Israeli Defense Forces, the attacks we're seeing now are actually just the remnants of a much larger, much more ambitious assault that they say they successfully stopped. They argue that Iran's original plan was far more devastating, but that Israeli intelligence and military action basically neutralized the primary threat before it could ever fully materialize. This chart does a great job of breaking down Israel's argument visually. They're claiming Iran wanted to fire hundreds of missiles right out of the gate, but instead, fewer than 100 were actually launched on day 1, followed by about half that on day 2. And now, the average is down to about 10 missiles per day. The Israeli story is that their strikes on launch sites and production facilities inside Iran are the direct cause of this massive drop. From their point of view, this is a clear victory in containment. However, and this is a really big however, this is where that narrative meets a very difficult reality on the ground. Despite the claims of successful containment, the attacks haven't actually stopped. Air raid sirens are still a regular, terrifying occurrence in Israeli cities. Civilians are still being hurt. This points to a grinding, attritional conflict, where Iran just keeps firing and Israel just keeps intercepting. So while the threat may have been degraded, it is very clearly far from being eliminated. All right, let's move on to our third and final narrative. And this one is, well, it's perhaps the most dramatically different of all. It comes from the United States, under President Donald Trump, who presents a picture not of an ongoing conflict, but of a victory that has already been won.
I mean, that statement is truly remarkable in its scope. This isn't a claim of containment or degrading an enemy's capability. It's a claim of total annihilation. The official U.S. position, as it's articulated right here, is that Iran's military capacity has been effectively erased from the board, and its leadership is in such disarray that they are desperate to negotiate what amounts to a surrender.
So let's just unpack the specific points of this narrative for a second. The claim is absolute. No Navy, no Air Force, no radar, and its leaders are, quote, all gone. This stands in stark, direct contrast to the reality we just talked about, the ongoing missile launches that are being confirmed by both Iranian sources and by Israeli air raid sirens. The White House's conclusion is that Iran is completely beaten and wants to make a deal so badly. It paints a picture of a conflict that isn't just contained, it's already over.
So, we've just reviewed 3 completely official and completely different stories. Iran's story of an escalating campaign, Israel's story of a contained threat, and America's story of a war that's already won. Now, let's bring them all together and analyze what this clash of narratives truly reveals. When you lay these narratives out side by side, just like we've done here, the stark impossibility of the situation becomes crystal clear, right? I mean, Iran cannot be in the middle of a successful escalating campaign if its military has been totally wiped out. Israel cannot be containing an ongoing threat if the war is already over. These narratives are mutually exclusive. All 3 of them simply cannot be true at the same time. And this brings us to the crucial point of all of this. The primary conflict right now might not be for territory at all, but for perception. The real battlefield has become the giant gap between the stories being told by these governments and the verifiable facts on the ground. The simple, undeniable fact that missiles are still flying, sirens are still sounding, and the entire region remains on a knife's edge. And so, this leaves us with a final, critical question. In modern warfare, where narratives are deployed like weapons and official statements can be completely contradictory, how do we as observers find our way to the truth? How do we separate the strategic messaging from the battlefield reality? That right there is the challenge at the heart of understanding not just this conflict, but so many others like it in the world today.